Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sure is a snowy day for me. I don't know about you guys. How's everybody doing? We're gonna do some ASMR streaming. How's it going? I heard that Tonka's morbidly obese moderator got busted for raping his dog. You know, the dog that he's always talking about on Discord. God, somebody I think called the local police and reported him for being a fucking sicko. And now we don't know if he's confirmed in custody or not, but seems like somebody did some God's work and got rid of that fat piece of shit before he hurts another animal. Uh, in regards to Eugenia, I got a call from the supervisor, Supervisor Cole, who informed me that they basically gave her the decision to get help or they were going to involuntarily submit her. She decided that it would be best to submit herself. So they're going to be watching that closely, and at that point, I can't really be told anything else because it's a private family matter. Hopefully, the poor girl gets the help she needs. That's not nothing to knock, and it's not something to, I guess, be prideful about. I mean, I don't know if it was my call or if it was other YouTubers' videos that really pushed her to get help, but I'm pretty sure that the call that I made was the one that made the officers go there because her mother was doing a very good job of convincing them that she was healthy and fine, and they would not go over there until I kept insisting it. So I'm hoping that that is what helped her, and I hope that she does get healthy. I hope that she gets safe to a good weight to where she's not that frail and sick anymore. And I think that it's a very good thing that she's going to get better. That's not anything to be, shitty about. It's a terrible thing that this poor girl can barely stand, and her mother's yelling, please leave me alone. I want the money and shit like that. Now, I know a lot of people were claiming that that was part of the song, but we actually found the song. Uh, Onion Wizard found it. We played through the entire song, and there's no lyrics on the entire song. It's literally just a trap remix. There's no voices. We played through the entire thing, and there's no voices at all at any point through the entire song. So when you actually wrap it in Audacity and you do vocal isolate, you can hear somebody yelling about her being sick and about her mother saying she wants the money and to be quiet because she's filming. Uh, at this point, there's really no point to continue talking about her because she is getting help. So hopefully she gets the help she needs. And now it's on to the next person to get help. Now, I know that a lot of people have been giving Andy and Ralph a lot of flack about this JF thing in regards to what JF said and their response to what JF said. People are saying that I'm in Andy's ear and I'm egging him on. They're saying that I manipulated the conversation of what was said to Andy. Um, the fact of the matter is even when Nick Rakita reviewed it, um, JF was pretty much saying that what Andy did, what JF said, what Andy was doing, sounded like rape to him. JF knew it was a joke, and still he continued to insist that it was real. I feel like a lot of you guys, especially his viewers, are lied to a lot by him. He seems to pride himself as a genius, as somebody with 127 IQ, who has a very broad understanding of the law. Um, and he claims that he left his position as a postdoctoral researcher at Duke of his own volition because he lost interest in academia. The truth of the matter is, he didn't leave because of his lack of interest in academia. Um, he left because, and I got this confirmed by his wife's lawyer. He left because he had a sexually inappropriate relationship with his wife's. How do I put this? With his lab assistant, in which he got herpes from her, and then after he got herpes, he refused to get help for having herpes, and his wife found out and was disgusted and didn't want to be with him after that. He leaves that out. Uh, it's a very hilarious thing to know that JF's got the herps, but he does. And his wife's lawyer, I'm going to be speaking with probably tomorrow. I called her office today. I spoke with her secretary and stuff like that, and I also found out a couple more things about JF that he's been lying to everybody about. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it has been talked about quite often the past few days, and it's been about JF's connection to Jeffrey Epstein. And I just want to say that I enjoy the fact that he tells this story so much that he doesn't remember that he's told this story because he's really dumb and he lies a lot. And at this point, he made a very dumb mistake because when he told this story, he did not realize that people would remember and catalog it. And that is exactly what he did. He made a very grave mistake, and when he did so, um, he completely fucked up the fact that when people looked into this, they were going to be able to question him about his lies. And unfortunately for him, I am very, very good at finding records and things that people try to bury because it just, I don't know, it's just like a hobby for me. I like to find the needles in the haystack. I like to find the truth. And I think that people that watch me deserve to know the truth.
Daily
That
Beast
I think that's why they watch me, and I think that's why people enjoy watching me to begin with. Let me just double check that this works.
reports that they were actually
Ow! What the fuck? Let's double check.
reports
Okay, apparently Twitter videos are broken. I'm just gonna download this before I play it. The real story of what he told everybody else is actually a lie. Believe it or not, the entire story was a farce.
Daily Beast reports that they were actually
Ow!
regularly
What the
seen together.
fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. Why is this so fucked up? I might have to restart, what do you call it? Chrome. 'Cause it's all fucked up. Just give me a second. I don't know why there's a lot of sound problems today. I feel like fucking Jim just boomerang around. Alright, so I'm sure you've heard this, thing that JF's been telling people, and it's about Jeffrey Epstein and how him and Jeffrey Epstein co-founded what do you call it, a nonprofit, and about how he was one of the principal founders of the nonprofit, and how he was going to be transparent with this story, but he isn't.
Daily Beast
Oh my god, what the fuck? Hold on one second.
Mic on.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Just reset my video card. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this. Let's see if this loads. I'm trying to figure out why it's not working right. It's like my sound's working, but it's playing like static through my headphones. I don't know why. It's whenever I try to play this clip of JF being an idiot. Let's go with set earphones. All right, let's see if this works. Let's let's do a test real quick.
Bruh.
Okay, this is working. All right, let's try to play this video. Go to, there we go.
Daily.
All right, I got it. So now let's go ahead and load this video up, and then we'll let you guys watch what JF says, and then I'll show you how he's a liar.
Beast reports that they were actually regularly seen together during the 1990s. And as I told you last week or the week before, a federal judge in New York has ordered a hearing in December about this case. This story, Pat, sort of proves that the media is out to get Trump theory is total BS, because if corporate media wanted to take down Trump, they would be covering this story, and they would have been covering this story for months. Instead, yeah, they talk about the sexual assault allegations. This is very
By the way, this makes me think I should be transparent about this. You guys may not know, but Jeff Epstein, who we're talking about here, was an original founder to my YouTube channel. Now, it's not that I give a shit about this guy, okay? He got arrested after, and the fact that he about air, be transparent about this. You guys may not know, but Jeff Epstein, who we're talking about here, was an original founder to my YouTube channel. I should be transparent about this. You guys may not know, but Jeff Epstein, who we're talking about here, was an original founder to my YouTube channel. Now, it's not that I give a shit about this guy, okay? He got arrested after, and the fact that he donated to my channel at the very beginning of my YouTube career does not influence me. I'm not trying to find Jeff Epstein innocent in what he's been accused of, and you guys may not know, but Jeff Epstein, who we're talking about here, was an original founder to my YouTube channel.
Now, the funny part about this is that there's another clip that I don't have on me right now, but I got sent it earlier. I'll have to double check for it. But in this other clip, he claims that Jeffrey Epstein donated to his Neuro TV nonprofit, and that the nonprofit was founded by Jeffrey Epstein, but he lied, and that he never took any personal money from Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein helped co-found a nonprofit that he's involved with. Well, here's the best part. It's a lie. There's only one nonprofit in the entire country that's registered in JF's name. And guess what? He's not just the president, he's actually the founder of this. And there's no mention of Jeffrey Epstein on it. I actually have the documents for his incorporation. Got him right here. Let's improve the quality of this. Go with we'll go with that. Actually, let's go with customize. Select all. We'll zoom in a bit. So you can see right here. Is that good for you guys? Is that zoomed in enough? We'll enhance. Neuro TV Inc. This is the company, and this is what the company was registered to in Durham. But here's the best part: the registered agent was Jean-François Garrepi, and he's the only person that is the president for this. So let's enhance some more. We'll zoom out a bit, like to there. That should be clear enough. Okay. Now, what you'll notice is that he claims that he was the one of the founders of the channel, and in another video on Twitter, it was another interview. It was him and Richard Spencer, and he's talking with Richard Spencer about uh, you know Jeffrey Epstein. I think it's Greppy, Richard Spencer, Epstein. And he talks with Richard Spencer about it and how he took money from him, and how when he took money from him, it was to found a non-for-profit organization, and he tells this entire story to you know Mr. Spencer, to which Mr. Spencer finds it very weird. He goes completely quiet, and it's a very awkward conversation because he's just like, oh, really? Oh, you did take money from him, and it's like, yeah, I did, and he's like, oh, I see, and it's very strange from that point on. The entire conversation gets very weird, and what's weird about it is he claims flat out that this guy, this pedophile guy that had the pedo island, co-founded or founded this non-for-profit that he worked for. But he's a liar because when you read the articles of incorporation for this, at the very bottom, it says all of the people that are on the board when the incorporation was founded. It's all the way down here. And if you look, Jean-François Garrepi is the president of the company. Leanne Boucher is the vice president. John Kubel is the secretary. Stephen Miller is a member. And Diana Z, which is the ex-girlfriend that filed a restraining order against him, is the treasurer. There's no mention of Jeffrey Epstein at all. If Jeffrey Epstein co-founded this organization with him, why isn't he listed on this? Why, when JF incorporated this, did he not include all the people that was a collaboration? It says specifically in the amendments to the bylaws for the company that anybody that donates money or is involved with the development of Neuro TV would be listed on this list. So Mr. Garepi took $25,000 from a guy that had a pedophile island and never included it on his nonprofit. He said flat out he was a founder and went on to explain it to Richard Spencer, which I found a little bit weird. It's a very strange way to say things. You don't say this person was the founder of my channel to Richard Spencer and then change the story afterwards. It's very weird. Also, he lied about why he was let go from Duke. He didn't leave because of academia boring him. He left because he was dismissed for having a sex affair with a girl that gave him herpes. It's quite weird how he got the herp from a student and then left academia. That was the real reason why his wife never wanted to be with him. And then he insisted by harassing her and threatening to kidnap the child and flee to Canada, which is a bit weird. He seems to have a history of being quite disconnected from reality and almost psychopathic at some points. Now, I'm sure people missed other reviews of things, like we missed the case brief that I didn't see on my show, but I saw it later on. So let's go ahead and we'll do some enhancements. So zoom out a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit better, and we'll move this over. Is that readable to you guys? Can you read it, or is it too grainy? Should I maybe zoom in a little bit more? Is that better? Okay, so we are going to go all the way down. Now, when we went over his case the other day, they kept mentioning appendixes, and I didn't realize that this thing was 58 pages long. So I didn't notice this till I went on another show, but there's a new thing, appendix, and it's all the stuff that's written in the court stenographer's hand. Let's see if I can move this over so you guys can see it better. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna see just how intelligent JF is when it comes to law. Now, this is the pretrial hearing. This is everybody that's representing themselves. So, Mr. Luke Nichols, I actually talked with his secretary about an hour ago. Now, JF claims that he's experienced in the law, that he knows every single law in and out, that he knows every law that you could ever think of in every country, and that he was a genius. This was back in 2016. This is what caused his third marriage to dissolve. Oh yeah, it is in case to Jacqueline Castellanos, an incapacitated person. It's a 19-year-old girl who is she's mentally disabled. Yeah, actually, JF's first wife, she didn't want to have kids, and JF said that she, according to his psyche eval, she lost interest in him sexually because he was getting fat. That's talked about quite heavily in an article that somebody wrote about him, where they actually talked to the court appointed psychologist and they revealed that JF felt that he was fat and that his wife didn't want to have sex with him because he was overweight. So their marriage dissolved. Then he married another woman who left him within 8 months. Then he married this third woman who he knocked up. And while he was knocked up with her, he hooked up with a fourth woman who was a lab assistant that he got herpes from. And then when that girl didn't want to be with him because he kept trying to get her pregnant and control her, he moved to this woman, Jacqueline Castellanos, which is the fifth woman. So that's five women in like 3 years. And he says that he's fucked hundreds of women. But when you see the women that he's actually dating, you can understand why it's so easy for him to fuck hundreds of women. It's because he's fucking retards and bridge trolls. He's not fucking normal people. He's fucking mentally incapacitated retard people with hunchbacks. So this is his fifth relationship at this point. And this is while he is still married to his wife and in an ongoing custody battle for the custody of their child. So this woman that he is in this relationship with, they only knew each other a few months. At this point, it's August 2016. He has been talking to her since January. He was married. He separated from his wife. She hasn't even had the child yet, and he's trying to fight for custody of the kid. So let's go over this case so you can see what a genius JF is. Here's all the people involved. Here's the judge. The judge is the court, and Snyder is the lawyer that represents the Snyder law firm that is representing the mother. The court calls cause number 115533, the estate of Jacqueline Castellanos. Now, the way the law works is when you sign over yourself to a ward of the state, or you sign over your independent rights and give somebody power of attorney over you, it's handled by estate law. I have an application for the appointment of temporary guardian of the person filed by Marcia Castellanos on August 3rd of 2016 by Mr. Snyder, along with a TRO, a motion to intervene, and a motion to quash the TRO, a motion to quash the service of writ, a TRO, an application, a motion to strike the affidavit of filed by Jean-François Garepi pro se. Now, some of you are wondering who filed all of this. JF did. JF is representing himself in a court of law against a full law firm with hundreds of paralegals, multiple lawyers. He's going to go against them with no experience in the law, no law degree, no lawyer, no legal counsel, completely by himself. He is going to show you guys how his 127 IQ will show you. He's going to show you guys. He's going to show you how 127 IQ fares against the whole law firm by himself. In response to all of these motions filed by Mr. Snyder. Now, he filed all of these motions and then tried to file a restraining order against her parents, because her parents got involved and filed a restraining order against him and used that to come and take the girl and bring her home, because he wouldn't let her go home. Are the parties ready to proceed? Yes, Your Honor. The court, please do. Your Honor, if I can, just to start off with, I'm Wyatt Snyder. I'm here representing Marcia Castellanos, who is the applicant for her daughter as the proposed ward, Jacqueline Castellanos. Also present is Dr. Miguel Castellanos. He is the father of Jacqueline Castellanos. He's not an applicant, but he is the father and a necessary party. I'm also here with Josh Hines, who is representing the Castellanos, and Grace Nichols, the attorney ad litem here. Before we start, I'd like the court to take judicial notice of both Miss Nichols' report, attorney ad litem report, that we also filed an application for permanent guardianship yesterday. Attached to the permanent, it is not being heard today, but I think it's important. It is also attached as a medical examination with a statutory report signed by Dr. Gonzalez. So at this point, he has a full law firm with an attorney ad litem from the district attorney's office, 2 doctors, as well as for the father and the girl's mother. So he's going 6 on one person. 6 people, 1 JF. Let's see how this goes. As the court knows, we filed the application and we asked for a temporary restraining order because the proposed ward, Jacqueline Castellanos, had gone to North Carolina to live with Mr. Garepi. At the time, they were concerned for her safety. They were concerned that Mr. Garepi is married. He's in the middle of a custody dispute, and he's made all intentions known through all various pleadings that he has filed with the court that he's been trying to have a baby with Miss Castellanos. The court signed the TRO. The TRO was served in North Carolina, and then they got Jackie and brought her back to Texas, where she's lived with Miss Castellanos since they've been living here in Texas. So their lawyers had to file a restraining order against JF just so that they could get this girl out of his house because he refused to hand her back over to her family. This is weird. Ms. Nichols' report clearly states that Jackie does not, and essentially is not, contesting guardianship at this point. Her report states that she's frightened of Mr. Garepi, that she is concerned, she is not pregnant. That is a fact. At this point, we know. And we also don't believe that there's any reason why Mr. Garepi should even be here. Essentially, this should be an uncontested temporary guardianship set on an uncontested matter. Were it not for the various motions filed by Mr. Garepi, we are not asking for a temporary injunction. The temporary restraining order was already served and it expires today. So essentially, the TRO is moot at this point. All we're asking for is temporary guardianship. Again, Jackie is not here. A motion to waiver the appearance was filed by Ms. Nichols, and Ms. Nichols can talk directly, but I think her report lays it out, as well as the report by Dr. Gonzalez, that Jackie is totally incapacitated, that she does not have the ability to make decisions, and that she was fearful when she got here. She was even not eating or drinking because she thought she was pregnant, even though she wasn't. All of the result of her being with Mr. Garepi. Now, JF brags, and he has bragged multiple times, and I have the clips, they'll be released later today, of JF claiming that he won this case, that he defeated an entire law firm by himself, and that he also was assaulted by this girl's father, and that he sued him and won that too. So this is what he tells his fans. He tells his fans that he won this case, that he defeated these people, and that he got custody of the girl and they broke up afterwards. So clearly, someone's lying and they're full of shit. And that person that's lying is Jean-François Garepi. So as we go on, I think the appropriate thing to talk about is Mr. Garepi has filed several motions. The first of which he has filed that I think has to be addressed is his motion to intervene as a party. If that motion is denied, then he doesn't have any right to participate in these proceedings. We can proceed with our state to proof of facts, the oath, and can be done with it and move on to where, if it were not for his motions. So I think that his motions should be dealt with, and he has a bunch of other motions that basically stream from the attempt to deal with the restraining order that I filed the responses to. But I think the first thing that the court ought to take up, not just to see whether or not he should be able to participate, but to under what circumstances he should participate. So if you filed a motion to intervene, there's a state code specifically on that guardianship and matter. Texas State Code section 1055.003. And in it says, and the judge says, say that again, section 1055.003. That's of the Texas State Code. And it says that in a motion for the intervention, it must state the grounds for pleading the intervention, and it must be accompanied by a pleading that sets out a purpose for which the intervention is sought. Mr. Garepi filed a motion to intervene setting out his grounds. There's no corresponding pleading that goes with it. He hasn't filed a contest and a pleading that you would call a contest. He hasn't filed an application to be a temporary guardian. He doesn't have a background check. He doesn't have an actual pleading other than the motion. And the statute clearly says that you have to have both a motion and a pleading. And there's no pleading that corresponds with his motion, Your Honor. Now, this is a man who said that he is an expert on law, an absolute expert on law, and he does not know that you're supposed to file a pleading alongside a motion. It took me all of about 30 minutes to read all of the estate laws for Texas and get a good grasp of what to do when you're filing a motion like this. It's very strange that somebody with 127 IQ doesn't know that when you're filing a motion like this, that you also have to plead your case. He thought that all you had to do was just file this, and that you could also file a fucking mandamus, which is commanding the court to do what you want and follow your motion. That's what he thought he could do. But he didn't. So the judge goes, well, I had eye surgery this morning, so I got in this morning. I was able to read this Mr. Garepi's motion to intervene, but I was not able to read your reply. So Mr. Snyder says, that's okay, Your Honor. It was short. I mean, essentially, this statute says that under Section B of the statute, the motion must state the grounds for the intervention in the proceeding that accompanied by a pleading that sets out the purpose for which the intervention was sought. There's no pleading filed on that motion. On top of that, Judge, if you have discretion under the next Section C, the court has the discretion to grant or deny that motion anyway. And in doing so, there's only two things you have to consider. Will his intervention cause undue delay or prejudice education of the party's rights? Or does he have an adverse relationship with the proposed ward so that it is unduly prejudice education of the original party's rights? The education of the original party's rights is to appear, basically with the attorney ad litem who agrees, and Jackie, the proposed ward, who also agrees. That is why she is not here, to appoint Mrs. Castellanos, her mother, as the temporary guardian. Now, in JF's complaint, he claimed that they denied him the right to cross-reference a mentally enfeebled girl on the witness stand so that he could bully her into saying what he wanted her to say. Now, I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are saying, why don't I call the cops? Because JF was already forced out of the country over this. He already lost the case. I'm trying not to ruin it. He doesn't let people know this. He tells people he won the case and that he left willingly. No, he didn't. Now, there's two reasons why he says he is an intervener. One, he says that his pleadings, he says he is a fiance of this woman. He is married. He is married, and we filed those documents with our application for temporary guardianship. There is no divorce proceeding on file. So I don't think he can really be a fiance, at least in Texas. If he's still married to somebody else and there are no divorce proceedings filed, they do have a custody dispute on file because he has been determined that he can't see the child and that they have their own custody battle going on there based on the fact that he wants that baby and wants a baby, but he is not a fiance. That's weirdly worded. They're basically claiming that he's so obsessed with the child that that's the only reason he's even in this custody battle. The second thing he says, which would maybe give some credence if it were true, but he claims that Jackie is pregnant. She is not pregnant. She's had a urine test, she's had a blood test, and now that that's come back, we know for a fact that she's not pregnant. We know that, so she is not pregnant with his baby. She is not here, she is afraid of him, and she does not want to be here. Now, why is JF telling people a story that is completely untrue when this girl is so terrified by him that she signed over her rights to become a ward of the state so that her family could save her from him? Like, she literally signed over her rights so that her family could protect her. Her family had to go file a restraining order against him, get him served at home so that they could remove the girl from the house because he wouldn't let her leave. And this is the guy that's calling Andy Worski a rapist? Are you kidding me? The fucking nerve of this. And his fans don't even do nothing but defend him. They don't ever, ever, ever question Papa JF. He's innocent. He wins everything. He's a genius. She made herself the ward of a state so that her family could reapply and get guardianship over her so that fucking JF would leave her the hell alone because he was obsessed with her. So at this point, it says that this would have been without contest were it not for his intervention. When he found out that her family applied to be, the people that take care of her so that she could get away from him, he lost his shit and he started throwing thousands of motions at this court case. Thousands. He has been submitting motions across the country for years to try and win this. And just another one, this is what he said. He said, when it comes to Andy Worski and the story that was explained, go ahead and sue me. It sounds like rape. So at this point, the lawyer goes on. He says, I don't see that he has any right to intervene. I don't think that he has a proper party. I don't think that he followed the statute, and I think he wants to convince Jackie to go back to North Carolina just so that he can have a baby with her for his own interest, not for anybody else. And I would also ask the court right off the bat, before we get into any other motions, deny his motion to intervene and let us proceed with the guardianship without any objection or interruption from Mr. Greppi. So the court says, I'm ready to hear your response to Mr. Schneider's argument relating to your standing in this matter. Now, everybody in this chat, there's 276 here right now. I want you all to strap yourselves into the chair. I want you to prepare for the absolute elegance of a neuroscience genius from Duke. He is going to show you guys what that 127 IQ puts to already. Yes, my name is Jean-François. I filed a motion to intervene. I'm sorry that I didn't file the motion that was called a motion to contest, but I consider I was contesting within the content and the motive to intervene, as well as within my affidavit. I am contesting that Jacqueline is not incapacitated. Contesting what? I'm contesting that Jacqueline is not incapacitated. This is his argument. He's saying she's not retarded. That's his argument to a full law firm and a judge. Yeah, we don't get to that issue until you assert some level of understanding or ability or some relationship with her that gives you the right to even show up here. At this point, he becomes more retarded. Okay, so I'm her fiancé, and we were trying to make a baby. We have been living together for 3 weeks, and we have been together promising loyalty to each other since January 2016. This is what I mentioned in my motion to intervene and my affidavit. So this is his argument. We've been living together for 3 weeks. I took her virginity. Therefore, we're getting married. The judge says, is it true you're still married? JF's response was, yes, so it's a real promise that after I am divorced, the divorce proceedings are started. After I am divorced, we will marry. The court. So all your standing is based upon your belief that you're the fiance of Jacqueline Castellanos. JF's response. Yes, well, as the proof is in the exhibits that I attached to the affidavit, that she is living with me, that we have registered our health insurance and our home and our car insurance, so she is my domestic partner. First off, she's mentally incapacitated. The fact that she even had a license, she had to surrender the license, by the way, when she signed herself over as a ward of the state, because they realized that when they let her be left to her own devices, that she would do shit like drive from Texas to North Carolina and not tell anybody in her family. They had no idea where the fuck she was. She completely disappeared. And he made sure that her family were not involved. And when her family tried to get involved, he kept her from her family. So this is who JF really is. He kept her from her family while he was married to another woman and would not let her go home. So all of your standing, blah, 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 blah. So the fucking judge goes, I don't know what the laws are in North Carolina, but in Texas, a married man cannot have a relationship with another individual that confers legal standing upon them. So he's telling him flat out, Texas law says you have no dog in this race. You are not allowed to claim that you are her fiance. This girl is so mentally enfeebled, she doesn't even know what day it is. So here comes the 127 IQ. Well, in our case, we are separated, so my ex-wife or my wife consents to each of us having other relations because our relation is over. The judge responds, well, it may be emotionally, but it is not legally, and you haven't got the divorce. So here's where a law firm just comes in and fucking dunks on him. And if you look at our pleadings, Your Honor, we've attached the temporary guardianship which we recovered from Mr. Garepi's wife's lawyer. There are not divorce proceedings on file. There are custody proceedings on file, but they have intentionally, for whatever reason, dealing with Mr. Greppi's seeking status or the fact that he may or may not be here illegally. There is no divorce proceedings on file. He is married, and there's nothing on file which states that his wife has asked for a divorce either. The judge says, I find that Mr. Greppi's motion to intervene is that he lacks standing. Therefore, I will not grant that you have the application to proceed, and I will hear the testimony for the application of the appointment for temporary guardian. At this point, they kick JF out of the courtroom because he has no point to be there. He has no pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. He does not belong there. It is just insane that he even had the balls to stand here and tell people that he has the right to be there for this woman. They kick him out of the courtroom and tell him he doesn't belong there. So when they get down to the bottom, all the way at the bottom, now here's the best part. This case took about 20 minutes to review. At the very bottom, the judge says, and I quote, I've signed the order appointing Miss Castellanos temporary guardian of the person, fulfilling my obligation under the rules of the judicial court and letting the DA's office know that there is a potential for an individual to have taken advantage of an incapacitated individual by exercising coercion or other means taking advantage of them. We're going to let the DA's office do whatever they wish. Mr. Nichols, thank you, Your Honor, we will be. At which point, Mr. Nichols filed legal claims to have JF investigated for taking advantage of this girl. So I called the DA's office today and I talked. He's going to be calling me back, but I left a message with his secretary. It took her forever to find the fucking file, by the way. Let me see if this is it. He had contacted her in the brief. There we go. I sat on hold for like 10 minutes while she went back to find the file.
Trying to get some information on this because it's all just foreign to me. But
it's an old case. It's from back in 2016.
Yeah, I see that. Okay. Give me your name and number, and I will give it to Mr. Nichols. They're in trial, so I can ask him to give you a call. I was just going to pull a file or something, but none of that rang a bell to me.
I just wanted to ask him some generalized questions because what happened is after I saw in the brief that he was immediately dismissed by the judge. The judge was like, "You have no right to be here." And then, from what I gathered in the brief, they actually had contacted his I guess his partner that he was married to at the time, because he was trying to establish that he was in a fiance-based relationship with this woman, but she's so incapacitated she doesn't even know where she is half the time. And I read what Mr. Nichols said about how they were going to be opening an investigation into Mr. Gurepi about him taking advantage of this poor girl, and how they had contacted his ex-wife, well, his dissolved partnership with his wife, and she'd said that they'd never made any attempt to get divorced, and that he'd been harassing her and threatening her too. And I'm seeing like a clear pattern of him targeting women that are I guess I could say mentally enfeebled. And he actually took off to Quebec, and now he's doing the same thing to a woman in Quebec too. So we're in the middle of doing a documentary on him. And how he is targeting women that are, I guess, mentally disenfranchised, ones that are thinking that they're around the age of 10 to 11 years old when they're in their 30s. And that seems to be what he did in this case that Mr. Nichols tried, and he also has done it in the past. And we find it very alarming, and we're trying to get the police involved, but he had fled to Canada. Now he's doing it in Canada, and we found out recently, as of a few days ago, that the girl that he is dating is a girl that has the same kind of intellectual disability, and she's been spray painting that he's a king on the wall of random businesses all over his town. So
Oh gosh.
he's very sick, and we're trying to figure out why he would never come back to America. And I had a firm belief that half the reason why he's never returned to America and why he was, ejected from the country was because of this case. And I was wondering if Mr. Nichols ever, attempted to prosecute him or file charges against him, because he basically took advantage of a girl that mentally is the age of 10.
Yeah. Terrible. Okay.
It's very
Okay,
sickening.
give me your name again.
So at this point, I have a phone meeting with the district attorney in Jefferson County set for tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be speaking with him and finding out about this because JF did not leave the country willingly. JF was deported. And I see that Wallalu wants to know how you can determine someone's mental age. Well, funnily enough, there's a whole nother 30 pages to this document. We're going to scroll on down. Keep going. Here, this is the application for permanent guardianship. And then I know there's another one. Oh, here it is. Here is her psyche eval. Here we go. Let's read this psyche eval, guys. I have the psyche eval for the young girl that he was taking advantage of. So let's read this. History of present issues. Autism evaluation and level of capacity. Jackie is a 19-year-old Hispanic female who is well diagnosed with having an autism spectrum disorder and speech impairment, and by a very well psychologist, Dr. Jesse Wood from Houston, Texas. She's been high functioning by those standards, and the mom reports that although she has typical features often found in people with autism, she's been doing well. She describes Jackie as a person who prefers to be on her own, who spends a lot of time on the computer, video games, and watching TV. Jackie agrees that she tends to be more solitary and spends most of her time by herself, although she reports she feels close to her younger sister, Madison. Jackie reports that on January 2015, she listened to a podcast, The Drunken Peasants. The podcast was being done by Jean-François Garepi. Jackie reports that she became interested and eventually they began having communication through the computer around August or September of 2015. Jean-François is said to be a 32-year-old man from Canada who was working at Duke University. Jackie states that he lost his job there. Kind of weird how he said that he resigned from his position on Facebook. He said that he resigned from his position on Twitter. He wrote a whole fucking blog post about it. Yet even this girl, who's mentally disabled, can remember that JF told her a story that he got fired, that he lost his job. So even this girl, who's mentally disabled, can prove that fucking JF's a goddamn liar. So at this point, he is currently separated from his third wife and has a young son who was born on December 29th. Jackie states that he does not have his son with him. Jackie began to communicate more and more with Jean-François and states that they began having a relationship over the computer in June of this year. She told him she wanted to see him, and he told her that she was welcome to go visit him in North Carolina. At this point, Jackie reports that before Jean-François, she has never before been involved in any type of romantic relationship with anybody. So this girl has never been in any kind of friendship, any kind of romantic relationship. She's never had any kind of intimacy with anybody. She's literally a virgin. She's never been intimate with anyone and never had sex. She reports that on July 10th of this year, she got into her red Subaru Impreza and drove to North Carolina without letting any of her family know. She reports not being scared. She never really thought about the fact that there could be problems. She states that he was nice to her. She reports that she had protected sex with him during the first sexual experience with him, and continued to have sex with him, but without protection. So, JF got a mentally disabled girl to drive from Texas to North Carolina and then took her virginity the first day she was there and made sure that she never told her family where she was going. Completely fucked. She states that she wants to get pregnant and that he wants to be a stay-at-home dad. She reports that Jean-François is a YouTuber who is now working from home and also does work translating French into English. She has no idea if he has any money or how much money he makes. He lives in an apartment and states that he told her he was going to get her a cooking show and was going to teach her about lighting and editing. So, he lured a 19-year-old mentally disabled girl clean across the country with the promise that he was going to teach her how to cook and give her a cooking show on YouTube. It's quite weird that his immediate response is to teach her how to be a cook on YouTube. Really weird. She states that she likes him because he's funny and likes politics and science. She reports that she loves cooking and the idea of having a cooking show. It's kind of like when a predator pulls up in an ice cream truck and says, "Would you like a popsicle?" That's literally what JF is doing. I'm going to make you a YouTube fanatic. I'm going to make you a YouTube star. Really weird. Jackie states that her parents uh, went and took her from North Carolina and brought her back to Beaumont. She reports being angry and upset with them. There's also the worry that she may possibly be pregnant. A urine pregnancy test was just done and found to be negative. She has a blood pregnancy test that will be done shortly. According to Jackie's mother, Marcia, this man is not stable and is worried about the physical and mental state of her daughter. Marcia has an affidavit from a private investigator about a situation with Jean-François and his relationship with a girlfriend, Diana Z. And she states that they feel that Jean-François is not mentally stable. Jackie's mother, Marcia, feels that her daughter Jackie is being taken advantage of by this man and is in danger of being with Jean-François. He stated that he and Jackie are going to marry each other as soon as he gets a divorce from his current wife. Although he does not now think that Jackie is incapacitated. Should she be found to be so, then he still wants to be her guardian as her domestic partner and future husband. So he openly stated to her mother that if they found out that she was mentally incapacitated, that he doesn't care and he would still want to marry her and control her. This is the kind of person JF is. Marcia Castellanos states that everything is so stressful for the entire family. She's worried about Jackie, she knows that Jackie is upset, and she reports that Jackie has just been pacing and having trouble sleeping. Jackie still does not seem to understand the potential unhealthiness of this relationship and its consequences. Jackie states that she's tired of being looked at as a child and that Jean-François does not treat her like a child. Jackie does not report problems recently with her sleeping and not being able to get rest. Her post-psychiatric history. She was initially diagnosed with a pervasive developmental disorder by Dr. Jesse Wood of Houston. She's subsequently been evaluated a couple more times, and the diagnosis of PDD is now under the ASD label. She was seen by Dr. James Duncan in 2009 and is diagnosed with PDD and low average intellectual functioning. He stated that her social skill issues needed to be monitored and assessed, particularly those that would be more critical during adolescence. He also recommended that she take speech therapy. During pregnancy with Jacqueline, her mother had bleeding, and then it goes on to talk about how she didn't even talk until she was over 3. that she was able to be toilet trained by 4, and that the more genetic studies they did, they were found to be negative until she got older. Her cognitive testing was done, and reportedly she was functioning in a borderline to low average range. Other than that, she had no other issues. They go to talk about her mental status. For part of the interview, her mother was present, and then there was time spent with Jacqueline alone. Jacqueline seemed upset and was fidgety and seemed anxious. Her dress and her hygiene were appropriate. She reported that she had not been sleeping well since she was brought back by her parents. She reported both problems with initial and middle insomnia. She reports her mood being upset, and the effect seemed sad, anxious, and upset when we talked about her mother and father bringing her back. Her thought process seemed slow, but her thought content had no auditory or visual hallucinations. Her answers to questions seemed to take a long time to find a response. If she had one thought, once she answered it, it seemed appropriate. So she's literally very, very slow. Very slow. She seemed to be able to subtract 7 from 100, but did so very slowly as if she was counting on her fingers. She seemed upset and anxious, and when I asked her to keep subtracting from 7 to find out what answer she would get, she couldn't. I asked her to spell Houston, and she was able to do it forward, but had difficulty doing it backwards. Later, during the interview, she suddenly tried to spell Houston backwards for me again. It was as if she was frustrated and yet at the same time trying to be able to answer correctly. I asked her how she was planning to take care of herself in North Carolina, and she responded that she and Jean-François were going to work on a cooking show. She literally had the belief that he was going to be giving her a cooking show and continued to lie to her. I asked her about the possibility of being pregnant and being a mother and that she'd have to take care of a small child. She stared, was quiet, and no answer was ever given. Later, she stated that she liked animals and has 3 cats. I asked her if she would be able to take care of herself if something ever happened to Jean-François, or if he left, and again, she had no response. She reports feeling bored at home and states that she doesn't really like to go out. She denies any suicidal or homicidal ideations. There were periods during my interview where she seemed to get distracted and would have a blank stare until I would redirect her. It's almost as if JF took advantage of this girl, and when she had a blank stare, he didn't really seem to care. It's almost like he's a rapist. So there's some really weird things because when you read the evaluation, at the very bottom, the doctor says, the concern here with Jacqueline is that she suffers from an autistic spectrum disorder, and the situation that she finds herself in is that she's spending a lot of time on the computer. She found someone that she made a connection with and who is likely feeling lonely. And she describes it as tired of everyone feeling like she's a child. And she does not have the thought process to rationalize things like most of us do. Also realizes she is physically a 19-year-old girl with hormones that has never gotten attention and that this person is giving her a lot of attention. She became obsessed communicating with him on the computer and developed an e-relationship. Then, impulsively, one day, for someone who has always been taken care of, gets in a car and drives all the way to North Carolina to be with this man. In this case, the problem is not necessarily her intelligent level, but her cognitive processing and social skill issues that can get her into a lot of problems. Keep in mind that even people who do not suffer from an autistic spectrum disorder, they can become obsessed with somebody on the internet and make an impulsive act to meet them. The concern here is not because of her ASD, but someone can really take advantage of her because she cannot read social cues like most of us can. Personally, I don't know this man, but another issue is whether any man who may also not be stable could take advantage of her because of this situation. The things to worry here are whether or not this person could maybe not even physically, but likely emotionally hurt this person. In the short amount of time that they've been physically together, this man seems obsessed with wanting a child and is looking at having a child with someone who has difficulty taking care of even herself. They've been having unprotected sex, although Jacqueline states that she wants to have a baby. She seems to have no clue about what she would do with the baby or even how to take care of one at this point. So these people are deeply concerned that this girl is so into the woods that she doesn't know what to do. She has no response. She can't even take care of herself. And this dude's trying to get her pregnant. This 127 IQ, big brained, smart Frenchman who was a neuroscience major at postdoctorate research at Duke, who got herpes from a lab assistant, is trying to convince a girl with the mental capacity of a 10-year-old to have a baby. That is completely fucked. Financially, Jacqueline states that she does not know how much money this man has or makes. She does not work and has not worked, so she has no money. She is not sure what they would do if they were together and he would suddenly leave. She does not know how to handle financial matters, as her mother has been handling that for her entire life. She does not have the knowledge to know how to take care of other things we know how to do, like laundry, pay bills, fix small things around the house. She's able to take a bath and do most of the activities of daily living, even though the mom reports she often has to remind Jacqueline to do them. She states that she will cook some by following cookbook recipes. So they're asking her about taking care of herself, and she's like, I like cookbooks. As for the question of capacity, an incapacitated person is an adult individual who, because of the physical or mental condition, is substantially unable to provide food, clothing, or shelter for themselves, to care for one's own physical health, or manage one's individual or financial affairs. At this time, I find no proof that Jacqueline Castellanos is able to provide food, clothing, or shelter for herself. She's not employed and therefore has no financial resources of her own. I do not see her being able to gain employment at this time or make enough money to be able to take care of herself. The problems with her ASD is they make her cognitive and social skills processing such a problem that can get her into a lot of trouble. And a lot of problems without the right guidance. I do not feel that she has the ability to make an informed judgment as to the marriage. She is currently unable to apply for or receive government benefits on her own. She's unsuccessful at seeking or retaining employment. She does not have the ability to contract or incur obligations. She has no ability to sue or defend lawsuits. No ability to manage property or make gifts or disposal of property. No ability to determine a safe residence. No ability to consent to medical, dental, or psychological or psychiatric treatment. No ability to handle a bank account on her own. No ability to make decisions regarding financial obligations. No ability to enter insurance contracts of any nature. JF's biggest argument was that they were in a domestic partnership because they had insurance. Legally, she's not allowed to even sign her name on a fucking insurance form. Contracts of any nature. She has the ability to operate a motor vehicle, but would not know what to do if something were to happen except to be able to call her parents. At this time, we do not find her capable of being able to take care of herself. Now, they go through in detail about how fucked up she is and about how the mother says that he's taking advantage of her and how they had to get a peace officer to intervene with JF because he wouldn't fuck off. That is the kind of person that JF is. That is this man that has got this new girl, what the hell's her name? Elnora or whatever the fuck her name is? Yeah. He's got her in his house now. And what does he do since he's got her in the house? What's he been doing since he got her there? Let's see what she's been doing at Papa JF's house.
Effective morality. I haven't been giving a criteria. Hello? How are you doing?
Hey Jeff, on Valentine's Day I will make you a special meal. You can eat my pussy all night.
All right.
Hey Jeff, on Valentine's Day, I will make you a special meal. You can eat my pussy all night. Hey Jeff, on Valentine's Day, I will make you a special meal. You can eat my pussy all night. Hey Jeff, on Valentine's Day, I will make you a special meal. You can eat my pussy all night.
All right.
Yeah, that's what Papa JF's doing. You know, the girl that was arrested for dancing naked with a violin and has severe mental impairment, and he's like, I'm gonna eat a pussy for Valentine's Day. I don't know if she's deaf or if she's retarded, but it's quite clear she has some kind of mental disability. And she goes to kiss him, and he just turns away, which I found really weird because he's in a relationship with her and he doesn't mind having sex with her. So I decided that the best thing to do at this point to help this girl is I wasn't going to contact the police. Because if I contact the police, they're going to get pissed at her. They're going to go to her house where I know where she lives and they're going to arrest her. So the best thing for me to do is to get involved with somebody that wanted to work very closely uh, with this fucking case. So when this happened, when this spray paint thing happened, the only person that seemed very interested in this, that was willing to work with the police and willing to stop this, was Valerie Plante. She's the mayor of Montreal. So I called up today, and I don't remember much of intro to French, but I was able to get my way into the secretary office, where I spoke with Susanna, her secretary. Thank God Susanna spoke English. Because once I said, vous parlez anglais, she was like, yeah, I speak English. And I was like, oh, thank God. So I started talking to her. I talked with her about 20 minutes. I told her I was recording. She said, please don't record. So I was nice and I stopped. Um, at which point she gave me all of her information. She gave me the number for to reach the mayor of Montreal. So I have her office number. I also have her email, and I sent her out an email that I will let you guys see part of. So it's right here, and you can see that I emailed her. I gotta hide the part with the addresses. So I said, "Good afternoon, Mademoiselle Plante. I spoke with Susanna this morning in regards to the hate crimes committed in May at Bar Sportif on Avenue Laurier East in Montreal. I know the identity of the person who committed these crimes. Now, if you recall the story reported about the crime that they mentioned, specifically that JFK is king of the world, and it had appeared twice, including on the wall of the Bar Sportif with pink hearts and happy faces. I know that you found these acts deplorable and distasteful. One could even say it diminished the view of the city. I've included 2 reference photos to match the poor girl to the crimes that she committed. I've also attached a video showing her and Mr. Garepi together on a live stream in which she committed those crimes in an attempt to impress him. She seems to be suffering from a severe mental impairment. She lives at this address and is currently in a domestic partnership with Mr. Garepi, who has a history of taking advantage of women who suffer from developmental disabilities. It is absolutely abhorrent that this kind of behavior could be rewarded by him by entering into a relationship with her after finding out that she did this. He is currently residing at this address, and it is where he does the majority of his filming. I will also be contacting and forwarding this to the police, as it is a risk to this girl's mental health and safety. I please ask that you intervene on behalf of this girl and get her away from this person as soon as possible. So I let the mayor of Montreal know that she has a dangerous, developmentally disabled sexual predator in the city that is taking advantage of these young girls. And apparently, she read my email because she called me back. And her and I are going to be talking in the morning. And she's going to be forwarding this to the Montreal police. I have the Montreal police officer's desk number so that I could call him and send him all of the emails and everything of this girl hanging out with them. And now the Montreal police are involved. And after seeing the videos of this girl, they're worried if she actually is developmentally disabled because she has a history of being arrested for being aggressively weird outside. Apparently, she was arrested in the past for dancing naked, and she's been detained. She has severe psychiatric history that they don't want to go over the phone. But yeah, they might intervene. So, JF, you can keep thinking that you're going to be, Jean-François Garepi, the potato farmer, but it ain't happening. Because after I get done with these people, I'm going to call the RCMP, and I also got in touch with his ex-wife's lawyer. So I'm going to play that one too.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Ellis Family Law. This is Tiffany.
How are you doing today, Tiffany?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had a conversation that I wanted to have with a lawyer. I got to pull up the brief real quick.
Sure.
It is Autumn Osborne.
Okay.
I wanted to ask her a question about a case that she tried a few months back.
Okay. Are you an attorney?
No, I'm actually I'm actually doing a documentary right now on one of the people that was involved in a case that she tried. It's involving the defendant that she tried against. It was a husband that was, I guess, mentally disturbed, and she. Now, when you guys hear the response from this woman, you're gonna fucking die. Wound up winning the case, and then the husband fled to Canada. We're doing a.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Are you talking about? Did you hear that? I didn't even have to go into detail. All I said was he lost the case and fled to Canada. Listen to what she says. Let's go back. She wound up winning the case, and then the husband fled to Canada. We're doing a.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Are you talking about?
Are you doing a documentary on who? On
Mr. Garepi.
Yeah, of course. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
and you're doing a documentary on him?
Yeah, we're in the middle of doing a documentary on him because he actually tried to come out and slander some people that I work with. That I stream with online and call them rapists. So we decided we were going to do a documentary on him. And when I believe her client had actually reached out to one of us a few months ago in regards to him because he's so insane that he's been doing live streams, basically bad mouthing her and bad mouthing the attorney's office. And we found out through investigation. I got some briefs from Texas that I was sent about a case that happened about 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago now, where he convinced the 19-year-old woman to drive across the country. And
we know about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And he prides himself online as this amazing expert in law, and I'm not an expert in law, but I know enough to know that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Exactly.
And he tried to cite child custody law for a reason for why he should be able to have sex with a mentally enfeebled 19-year-old, which I found alarming. And now that he's taken off to Canada, he's done the same thing to a new girl, and we just found out today that he actually got with a girl that was so obsessed with him that she was spray painting that he's the king of the world on random businesses across Montreal.
Hey, this just gets better and better.
Yeah, and she's
we need to make a movie.
Yeah, we want to make a movie on him, and I know with attorney-client privilege, you guys can't discuss things about the client, but I don't see why we couldn't discuss the defendant, which would be Mr. Garepi. I don't know if that's okay to discuss, but I just wanted to ask her some questions.
I don't think that you can, but here's the thing: I'll give you her email address, and hey, you get what you can get. I don't know that it'll be much, but you can do it that way.
Sounds like nobody at Ellis Family Law really likes this guy.
Well, I don't think everybody knows him, but I mean, I've been with the firm a long time, and I know the other party, and so and I've just kind of followed the case through its inception. So yeah, it's just been a really interesting case to follow, and so it's not that I don't like him, I don't know him, but the case is very interesting. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I was
It's
reading
something.
the brief from August, and I was just
Mhm.
like, this is insane. They're saying
Yeah.
that he's like mentally unstable and that he
Right.
has issues that he refuses to address, and that
Right.
he's so obsessed with, being a father that he doesn't care about the person that he's with. And I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, this is insane. This guy's like giving people advice and live streaming to thousands of people, and
Oh my God.
they're completely unaware of the fact that this man
Oh
is
my God. So
mentally
they really think
unstable.
he's an expert, huh? Right.
Yeah, they think
So they think.
he's like a genius, and from
Oh,
what I've
okay.
read, based upon this, when he was married to your client, he engaged in a sexually inappropriate relationship with a girl
Mhm.
that was his undergrad student or his lab student,
Mhm.
and he was
Mhm.
fired from that position because of that.
Mhm.
And then I guess
Okay.
he moved on to this girl
Mhm.
that he then got involved with the case for custody of. So it
Mhm.
seems like he has a very torrid history of having inappropriate relationships and trying to, I guess, abuse his position of moral power over women. It's
Right.
kind of sickening.
Yeah. 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 Well. Okay. You've got a fun one. All right. So do you want that email address?
Yes, I would definitely
Okay.
like to get my name and my number with you. I missed that
Mon-
I spoke with you, and
okay.
I'll see maybe if she's okay with talking to me, maybe off the record or something like that. But
Okay.
all right,
Yeah. Absolutely. Good luck.
all right, you have a wonderful day, man. Well, I sent her an email, and she is very interested in talking to me. Uh, hmm. Mr. Garepi, it's almost like they say you cannot keep jumping away from the lightning. Eventually, the toad gets struck. So, JF, you've had a long history of taking advantage of young girls, and I don't know why people defend you, because you're a piece of shit. And you lie. You lie to your fans. You take money from pedophiles that own pedophile islands, and then you lie about them co-founding channels that you probably just pocketed the money. You leave out the fact that you were introduced to Mr. Epstein through your girlfriend, Diana Z, who also filed a restraining order against you when you guys broke up because you were so obsessed with her that you wouldn't leave her alone because you were obsessed with knocking her up. It's quite weird, JF, why you keep lying about everything. Why you keep telling people that you're this good guy and how you left academia because it was boring. That was the big story. It was I'm leaving because I was bored. I think there was a Slate article about that. Let me go pull that up real quick. So it was a good read. Just go ahead and get that Slate article. Here's some good parts from the Slate article. He later left Canada to take a series of research positions at the U.S. colleges before settling into an associate research role in Duke's neuroscience department in September 2011. As the university confirmed to the Daily Beast in a viral Facebook post in 2015, Garepi announced that he'd quit because he became disillusioned with academic communities. This post earned him a write-up in Slate. But Garepi's motives for quitting came into question during the custody dispute. After his viral Facebook post, one of his former Duke colleagues contacted his wife, whom he'd married earlier that year. The former colleague contacted her in a Facebook posting and said that Dr. Garepi was asked to not return to his postdoctoral position because he had a sexually inappropriate relationship with one of the undergraduate lab assistants, according to the court records filed on the wife's behalf. And I have the wife's court documents. It was Garepi versus Newton. The undergraduate student confirmed the relationship to a private investigator hired by Garepi's wife. According to the court documents, while they were in the relationship, she told the investigator Garepi was her mentor and supervisor in their lab. During their relationship from January until June 2014, Garepi wanted her to have his child, she told the investigator, according to a sworn affidavit that was entered into the court. Garepi discussed how he would be a stay-at-home father and provide the child with all the caring he needs. According to the investigator's affidavit, the undergraduate lab assistant told the investigator that she decided against his plan and the relationship ended with her suffering from emotional abuse on the part of Garepi. So, not only has JF taken advantage of his position, and that's what caused him to be dismissed, but he wanted to be a stay-at-home dad who was so obsessed with this that he was willing to force this on any woman. And what I find weird is that this affidavit from this student matches the exact same court document that we just read about a girl in Texas. Isn't that kind of weird, guys? Isn't it kind of weird that if JF claims that this is a lie and an attempt to smear him by a bunch of women that are leftists, why would an official sworn court document in North Carolina match the exact same court documents in Texas from two people that have never met and never spoken? Why do two women, independently evaluated by a private investigator and two psychiatrists in Texas, have the exact same story about JF when they live in two different states and they've never met each other? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Now he denies this. He claims that this is a far left conspiracy to make him look like he's not a man, and that he was a pussy goblin who spent his childhood surrounded by many people, and that he didn't meet other women until he was 18 or 19, and at that point he began to have sex with thousands of women. He married his first wife at 18 and was divorced by 23. He told the court opponent psychologist, I wanted a family and she was not into it. She left, she lost interest in me, and I also didn't know how to satisfy a woman and I was getting fat. This is a man who told people he's fucked thousands of women, yet according to this psychiatrist report, he doesn't know how to please a woman. He's never pleased a woman before, and he feels insecure about this. It's quite weird. Quite weird. Garepi even told the Daily Beast that he did have the relationship with the girl, and that the student disclosed it to the university. He claims there's never been an investigation against him for being in a relationship, but yet he was dismissed. The school won't comment on it, and I know this because I called them this morning, and they won't talk about it. The only thing they'll do is confirm that he worked there at one point or another. Now, he claimed on Facebook that he was leaving his job because he wanted to be a father and he wanted to spend all of his time at home. But his wife, as well as the psychiatrist that was appointed to review him, said that he was severely impaired mentally, and that he should not be anywhere near this person. Garepi claimed that all of his statements were taken out of context, that his ex-wife is trying to get him kicked out of the country. She eventually moved out 5 months later, in which he refused to talk to a therapist and said, I am the sanest person I know. Here's another one. She claimed that she had to attend an interview and they asked him if he would sign separation documents. During the interview, an immigration officer questioned her separately and asked if Garepi was pressuring her into a green card. She claimed and told the officer that it was important for them to remain in the country for the child's sake. But after the interview, she claimed that Garepi refused to sign the separation documents. So she decided to just tell them the truth, that she was unsafe, and that she asked for the sheriff's department to remove weapons from the house because she thought that he may abuse her. The police were so alarmed by his request to remove the weapons before hers that an officer with a domestic violence unit called the wife to ask about her safety. She was concerned that he would pull a gun on her or something. One of the couple's biggest fights was over the fate of their unborn child. Apparently, Garepi said that he could deliver the child at home and raise it because he had experience working with monkeys in research labs. His wife claimed in the court documents that he threatened to take the child away to Canada. Garepi wrote on the medical intake forms that he would not comply with the doctor's orders that would keep him from transporting his child home. He then allegedly visited multiple OBGYN practices and accused them of discrimination when they would not treat him, even going as far as to threaten a lawsuit against Duke Hospital. Apparently, a month before the child's birth, the producer of the Dr. Phil show contacted JF's wife and JF's wife's lawyer twice and asked him to come on the show so that they could discuss his mental disability. Wow. Wow. So, Dr. Phil wanted to get involved with this because he is so fucking insane that Dr. Phil wanted to fucking bring him on the show and say, why don't you sit down and let's talk about why you are so obsessed with having a son. Is it possible that you, Jean-François, are obsessed with becoming the father that you yourself have never had? Yeah, you guys think that? Is it possible, Mr. Garepi, that you have never been the kind of man that you like to pride yourself on? Don't you see what love is, you idiot? A 19-year-old can be in love. Fucking weirdo. What a fucking weirdo. You know, a lot of people don't like me. They say I'm an asshole. They say that I do terrible things to people at certain points at time. They say I'm a monster, but I like to consider myself a necessary evil. Because when you see somebody like this guy, he's the reason why I exist, is to fuck with people like him. Because he is somebody that thinks that he is so intelligent that he has the right to take advantage of somebody that is less intelligent than him. And he goes the extra mile to try and exercise his vague understanding of law to force somebody to do what he wants. And he tried to do this to this poor woman. He tried to do this to this one girl's family, this Hispanic family. And it is just absolutely disgusting. It is disgusting that anybody could do this to their former wife, to this person. Like, there's no reason for this, for him to do this shit. He is just a terrible person. The fact that he thinks that he's some kind of hero because of this is shocking to me. Because he's just an asshole. He is threatening. This woman's in the hospital. And she is in the middle of having a child. And he's going, you better give me the baby. And if you do not, I'm going to take the child and leave. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? Do you honestly think that you are entitled as a man to just take a child because you're upset? You're upset that she's not happy with you because you're not keeping her happy. So you have the right to force her into giving you her child so that you can feel like some kind of man? I don't know about that. I think at that point, you're just a little guy trying to tell the world he's tall. And it's quite obvious by the way that JF picks his battles that that's how he really feels. He's a little man sitting on the shoulders of much taller men saying, I am on top of the world. And he's just not. He thinks that he can try to claim that his position at Duke somehow makes him less of a piece of shit, but he's still a piece of shit. So I don't feel sorry for somebody like him. You don't have access to your son because you're mentally disturbed. And he tries to do this extra shit where he claims that, the court system doesn't want him to be a father. No, the court system doesn't want you anywhere near your child because you're crazy. That's why they don't want you near your child. They feel that you are so mentally disturbed that you can't be trusted around children. They don't trust you to be around your own child because you're that crazy. I don't blame them. I don't blame them for not wanting to let you near your child because clearly you are so obsessed with having a kid that you don't care about anything other than yourself. And that is disgusting. So let's go ahead. We're gonna pull up this this document for this custody battle that he's engaged in. Pull it up right now. Let's open up the screen. We'll pull it up now. We'll go over it. We'll see what a great guy Mr. J.F. Garepi is. Let's go ahead and check this out. We'll see what an amazing big brain guy this guy is. By the way, he represented himself again. Just to let you guys know, he represented himself again, and he lost about that too. So, get to the point with the background. In early 2015, the mother and father were married. They separated within 6 months. Shortly after, the mother was granted temporary sole physical custody of the child through an ex parte order. Trial court entered 2 subsequent temporary custody orders, both of which granted the mother sole physical and legal custody of the child and denied him visitation. The father was ordered to engage in a full-scale psychiatric evaluation by a court-designated psychologist. Now, I am in the process of getting a hold of this actual psychiatric evaluation that I will then go over with all of you. A court-designated psychologist conducted the evaluation of the father and expressed concern regarding the father's serious mental health issues. Now, this is an official record on fucking file with the North Carolina court system, and it is also on record with the court system in Texas, and it is on record with the custody court in North Carolina, that he is severely mentally disturbed. Shortly after his birth, okay, here we go. Expressed their concern over the father's serious mental health issues, emotional and interpersonal relationship skills, the lack of self-control. In November 2016, based in part on the psychologist's report, the trial court entered a temporary custody order. In March 2017, after hearing the matter, the trial court entered a permanent custody order, granting sole physical and legal custody of the child to the mother and denying him visitation permanently. The trial court made the following findings. There were actually 55 findings, or 59 findings, in regards to how fucked up he is. To support this order, 55. This court remains severely concerned over the father's mental health status. 56. The court remains concerned over his ability to follow the procedures associated with supervised court visitation, as well as his ability to follow the court orders. 57. The defendant has not adequately addressed his mental health issues since the release of this evaluation into custody. 58. The court continues to have severe concerns over the father's ability to provide a safe and healthy environment for a minor child. 59. It is within the minor's best interest that his permanent legal and physical custody be placed solely with the mother, and that the mother is the only one fit and proper to exercise sole legal and sole physical custody of the minor child, with the father having no visitation. The father has timely appealed the permanent custody order. Then they go over to describe all of the laws that they feel show that he does not deserve custody. Section 2. The father enumerates 14 arguments on his brief appeal, in which he wrote a 28-page document explaining why he should be a good father and why the mother shouldn't be in charge of the child's safety, to which the court laughed at him because the document was just a 28-page rambling of nothing that said no reason why he should be a father or that he would make any attempts to be a father. He's a piece of shit. The father brings another arguments regarding the report of the psychologist who conducted a court-ordered evaluation of the father. The report was entered into evidence in a temporary custody hearing. In its temporary custody order, the trial court noted a number of recommendations made by the psychiatrist. Nothing in the record shows that the father objected to the admission of the report. He did not appeal to the temporary. He did not appeal to the. He did not even. He didn't contest it being admitted. He didn't care if it was admitted. And then they brought it back up at the permanent custody hearing. He admitted that he never made any attempt to comply with any of the recommendations made by the psychologist on the report. Based upon the prior order, the father's failure to address his psychological issues, the trial court entered a permanent custody order which is subject to this appeal. We've reviewed his arguments regarding the report from the court-ordered psychologist and conclude that the trial court did not commit a reversible error in regards to pertaining to this report. Essentially, the father argues that the report constitutes improperly admitted hearsay of the opinions of the psychologist, and they do not comply with Rule 702 of our Rules of Evidence in the State versus McGrady. And then he tries to cite precedent. However, the record shows that the report was offered into evidence at the temporary custody hearing and does not indicate that the father ever objected to it. So he tried to claim that they shouldn't have been able to take a psychiatric evaluation, that he had no problem being admitted when he thought it would make him look good. But it didn't because he's an idiot. And then when they brought it back up as evidence in the previous trial, he tried to claim that it was improperly used, which it wasn't. It was properly used. The court did a full evaluation, and they said that he was a fucking idiot. The court record shows that at the subsequent permanent custody hearing, the trial court did not specifically rely on the psychologist's report per se, but rather on the prior custody order, which makes reference to certain aspects of the psychologist's report. So what they did is they took the different parts, the bullet points of the report that were already admitted previously into evidence, and they used it to build a foundation to show that he is not mentally stable enough to be a father. And they used those bullet points to show what a fucking spurg he is. And his response to that was a 28-page document of him being a fucking spurg. That is what a genius JF is. He is such a smart guy that he shows people he's not a spurg by being a spurg. So he tried to force the court to drop it, but they didn't have to. In the permanent custody order, the trial court made 59 findings. 59 findings. Zoom in on that. Zoom in, fucking got him. 59 findings of fact that JF is not able to be trusted with a child. That JF is permanently mentally disabled and cannot be trusted to watch over his own child. That is why he does not have custody of this child. 59 findings. The father challenges these findings that relate to his relationship with the child and the mother. The findings are regarding his mental health and the findings regarding his personal accountability for the proceedings and custody litigation. He argues that these findings were not supported by evidence in record. However, the general statutes provide that any order of custody shall include any terms that best promote the interest and the welfare of the child. He tried to argue this, but he lost. So he didn't get what he wanted. He's also committed procedural violations. He alleges that the trial court erred in ordering the father to be absent on an entry of award date for the permanent custody order. The trial transcript clearly states that the trial judge said neither side has to appear on the 31st, especially just one side. If everything's emailed, 2, if there's a request for more time. So, JF was notified by the court system that he didn't have to be there. So his argument was, it's not fair that I lost the custody order because I wasn't there. This is how smart he is. He doesn't even read the legal briefs that they give him while he's representing himself. This is how much of a smart guy he is. 127 IQ. They give him a legal brief, he doesn't fucking read it. And for people saying leave some for Andy, Andy has so much shit that this is nothing. My favorite part is where he claims that the trial court abused its discretion in submitting things. And they basically just told him he was an idiot. My favorite part is the father argues on the appeal of the trial court saying that they violated his First Amendment rights by allowing questions to be asked in the custody hearing regarding statements that he made online in videos and on social media pages. Clearly, the First Amendment does not apply here. Free speech protections do not apply in this case because it's not impeding the defendant's exercise to exercise free speech. Therefore, we find this argument to be without merit. Here, the political position expressed by this father about the violation of rights to occur in family courts against men are completely irrelevant to whether or not he's a fit parent. Also, the father challenges the trial court's finding and called the mother and her counsel evil bitches. So you can see right here why that woman, when I called her on the phone, was laughing. And why everybody in that law firm knows JF. Because he said that they were evil bitches. We find that there's sufficient evidence in the record room to which the trial court can conclude that the defendant made these statements. And they actually had recordings of him saying this on his own show and claiming that he wasn't going to get custody of his child simply because, and I quote, evil bitches. It's quite funny. It's really funny at that point that he is so out of his mind that he's talking shit on YouTube and he doesn't even realize that they're recording everything he's saying, and then he's claiming that the court system is stalking him and infringing his First Amendment rights. Come on. Come on, dude. Are you fucking serious? You are out of your fucking mind, JF. You are absolutely insane if you think that you're going to force a fucking trial court to go the way that you want them to simply because you think that you're some kind of fucking miniature lawyer. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, JF. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. And having sex with a girl that has the mental capacity of a 10-year-old makes you pretty much a mental pedophile. And I will openly say this. JF Garepi, you are a mental pedophile and you are a rapist. There's no other ways to say this. You are a mental pedophile who preys on mentally disabled girls and forces them to give you their virginity. Jacqueline Castellanos was a 19-year-old mentally enfeebled virgin who you raped. She probably stared off into the distance while you talked about cooking shows and got your dick out of your pants. Why? Because you're a piece of shit. Somebody like you belongs in prison. And that's the real reason why you've never come back to America. And believe me, when I get done on the phone tomorrow, you're never going to want to come back to America. Because after I tell that district attorney in Texas that you're doing the same fucking thing in Quebec, they're not going to be too happy with you, Mr. Garippi. And I'm going to make sure to let everybody know that you are a mental pedophile and a rapist. Because that's what you are. You lure these women with false promises of being famous and being special. You convince them that if they become obsessed with you, that they'll somehow gain relevance in the real world. And after you've got them convinced, you put your dick in them, you convince them that the best thing that they can do with their lives is have a baby. And once they've done that, then all of a sudden you try to act like you're some fucking higher noble person, like you're a great guy. You're not a great guy. You're a piece of shit. End of story. Hold on a second. Somebody's calling me. Hello, Mr. Worski. Hold on. I gotta reset Discord. I can't hear you.
Yo, what up, man?
Oh, I can hear you now.
There we go. What's going on, everyone? I just made it home. So the doc is almost done. I needed to rest because I was up for a day and a half working on it. So what happened? I see people are agreeing with me. What the fuck happened? What did you do?
I'm going over all of the terrible things that he's done. A lot of people have been defending JF for all the terrible shit he's done. So I wanted to
Mhm.
go ahead and show them that, he lied about the 25K where he got that
Mhm.
from Jeff
Mhm.
Epstein, claiming that that guy founded that company with him. He's not on
Yep.
the records for the company. He was never there when it was founded. He was not.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Me and you were awake a little bit. A little bit. You remember us calling you at 5? I found something else. You're like, Andy, I'm trying to sleep, man.
I also called his ex-wife's lawyer, and that whole
Ooh, can I?
office knows him. The whole office knows him. They knew him. I didn't
Yo, you
even have to
mind?
say his name. They knew him
Do you have
instantly.
a tape?
Yeah, I have the whole thing recorded.
May you send me that for the docu series?
Yeah, I actually told her we were doing a documentary on him, and they were like,
We
"Oh,
are.
really?"
That's
And
actually, we are doing a documentary. Actually, I was going to say to you because we got a lot of new evidence coming in, and we might have to release this tomorrow morning. Don't you think? So we have one more like little spurt of I don't know. I want to release it tonight, but it would have to be like
maybe it could be a two-parter.
you know what? It might be a two-parter because we're at I think 30 minutes right now, and there's a lot more. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing you guys don't know. Me and Zoom, right? And a few other people, we were starting, we're like, and by the way, it's not called gay ops when you spend one night Googling someone's name to make a video on them. But yeah, so we started, and it was just like, let's make fun of him and say that he dates mentally handicapped girls. It turned out to like at 7 in the morning, me on the phone going, and then he basically fucked the alt right. He did a 180. He's working for a Jew for who's a billionaire. How is he paid in 2015 $25,000 for a Jew billionaire to start an alt right channel? And like we basically had fucking paper and tape all over the fucking walls. So I was screaming. My roommate walked out. He's like, "Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "All right, man." He's a fucking piece of shit, man. Honestly, man, I'm so glad that we went after him, and here's why people don't go after him. So you know why? Because for some reason, you say one thing about Papa JF. Hey, Papa JF is wrong about this, and it's like you get fucked in the ass by 400
You know,
people, and you're
you
like,
know, you know
why?
why he calls himself Papa JF, right?
Because he fucks. What? Go ahead.
No, because every time he manages to have a child, the state decides that he's not good enough to be a father. So he tries to live through his own failures online by claiming that he's Big Daddy Papa JF because he's never good enough to be a
Mm.
real father and take care of his own children because the states take custody away from him. That's why he's
Okay.
fled to Montreal like a coward.
Well, guess what? Uh, you know who's gonna be a JF's papas? Me and you. When we fucking dude, I'm telling you,
This is why
like
if he was my child, I would have aborted him.
yeah, I aborted him. I would have I would have let him live for a little bit so he understands what life is and is cognitive, and then abort him. I would post abort him 5 years. Hang on, my roommate's walking up to me in a concerned look. What's up, man? Hang on, try bite. I was just saying, is it okay if I say like? Wait, boy, hang on. Is this personal? Because I'm on live. Well, yeah, it's fine. Right. Oh, sure, yeah. And tell him that like, I'll fuck him in the ass later. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Thanks, man. All right, sorry. Oh shit, did I unmute it? Um, yeah. So basically, I want to say was when I came into this, like Zoom doesn't care, but when I came into this, it's concerning because I went through months of like him, Andy, and it turns out that the lowest IQ person apparently on YouTube is JF because I've never seen someone leave so much. This is a guy who left his cum and blood and tears, and he chopped off a piece of his hair and left it all on the crime scene. It's not even like that. I'm like, hey, Zoom, can you check if he received $25,000 from Epstein? You're like, all right. 5 minutes later, you're like, no. I'm like, all right, hey, buddy, did you check if that he did, this, like if he spent money from the fundraiser? He did. No. Okay. Do you know if that girl actually wanted to live with him? No. It's like fucking. And then we found the story. This was the best. We found the story, Zoom, the one where he's basically explaining the ex-wife, right? Basically the how oh okay. First it was oh the courts didn't find me suitable to be her boyfriend and live with her. And then we found like 9 versions of the fucking story on different streams. And we're like, wait, he says it here, always different. He never has it the same. He always adjusts it. He tries to like tune it up. But the problem is when you tune up a story live, you got 9 different versions of the story until he thinks, oh, look at me. And him talking to Emily Yukis like that. How dare you talk to Emily, fucking
Uh,
gorgeous,
uh,
big titty fucking Yukis like that?
Emily, you're muted. Are you fucking? You got the memory of a fucking goldfish? Don't talk like that.
Memory of a goldfish. Yo, dude. Oh, and then you know what's funny? She's like, Emily. And because her joke was, he was talking about the ships that sank, the people who were bringing the immigrant ships illegally, and then they were sinking. And then she goes, hey, if they keep doing it this way, we probably won't have to nuke Africa. And then he mutes her and he's like, Emily, you fucking moron. You have the memory of a goldfish. And then she asks him, like, I guess, because she's muted. He's like, no, no. He's like, it wasn't this joke that got us the hate speech strike. It was something else. But don't you say. So he's snapping on her, calling her a fucking idiot in front of all these people for something that wasn't even the cause of them to have a hate speech strike. Because she's joking around. A hate speech strike is when you go, I sincerely want them to nuke. You know what I mean?
I thought it was funny when she said that. I didn't see
I
anything wrong
love
with it.
that. I want her on my. I want her. We should do a show with her. Yeah or no?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I
Maybe.
don't have a
That's not
problem with it.
optimistic. That's not optimistic. I'll do a
I don't know
show with
what
her.
she's up to.
I'll fucking email her right now.
Okay, email her then.
I don't know her email. Do you know her email? You
No.
ask for nudes. I'll ask for nudes.
Oh, that should go over well. Are you gonna go the JF route?
No, I'm not getting. No, no.
Start asking her to put her hair in pigtails like he did with Lauren Rose.
Wait, what?
You don't remember how Lauren Rose, like when she first started going on the show, and then towards the end she was just She was getting more and more childlike every time she was on screen. It was really weird.
Yeah. Walaloo, Andy Worski, how stupid are you, idiot? This is why people call you low IQ. You don't think saying Nuke Africa is going to cause issues on YouTube? No, I've said way worse. I said Malcolm from the North should be called Malcolm hanging on a tree, and I was okay. Who cares, man? YouTube's not gonna fucking ban you for that shit. They'll ban you for when you're like, we should kill all the Jews and who cares, and then smash cut to fucking, 6 months later, we are going to interview liberals. So I'm excited for the thing. So you think it should be a two-parter series? You know what? I think you're right. So now we could release the first part.
Yeah,
And
I got a recording that I got to do tomorrow. I got three of them that I got set up. I had to do a call with the mayor of Montreal. I have to do a call with um, the law firm that the assistant district attorney that was filing charges against JF for the original potato girl that he tried to have sex with, and
fucking
then
potatoes. Go ahead, Jitson.
and then I have to call his ex-wife's lawyer to call her back for the email that she sent me.
Yeah. Okay, hang on. Yeah. So Killstream Coon. Yeah, we actually have that in the documentary. Actually, I did not know he was not charged as a pedophile. It was 2015. I took the money. 2018, 2008, 2011, 2014. There was one thing. He knew about the pedophile stuff. And also, why is there a fucking billionaire Jew giving money to JF? What's their connection? How do they know each other?
They apparently knew each other through that girl,
What?
Z.
Give me
He said that.
Where?
He said that on stream that they knew each other
They have that link.
through a former
Get a Barbie
girlfriend.
doll banner, please. Sorry, go ahead.
They knew each other through a former girlfriend that he had. It was that Tina Z chick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how they knew each other.
Hang on. Like Andy wouldn't take money from a Jew. Yeah, but I wouldn't start an alt-right show to build an alt-right audience to turn around to. There will be a redemption arc on JF. It only took us to do 500,000 hours of research and release it all in one fell swoop.
When was this guy convicted?
2008.
Okay, and JF claimed that he didn't know this guy?
Where do you know? Oh my God!
Because
JF flew that plane.
this company was founded on the 25th of September in 2013, and
What?
there is no listing of this guy who gave him this money listed on the board or on any of the advisors. He's not mentioned on any of the documents for the company. But yeah,
Fucking kids.
But he claims this guy donated $25,000 and was a co-founder of this company.
Wow.
He said that in that Richard Spencer interview that you have.
So basically, he knew this fucking Jew, and Jew.
Do you have that clip? I don't have it.
Yep.
Can you send it to me real quick? I'll play it because I don't think people heard him say that.
So basically, I want you all know that in my theory is that he was basically paid as. The word control op sounds so epic that it sounds stupid, but as some sort of way to oh my God, you sent me so much weird shit here. A way to basically control certain types of speech that is being given to the alt-right. And one thing we were noticing was buddy there with the old pedophile plane, he gave JF money and was a pedophile. And what do you know when JF starts his fucking channel? Starts to make videos normalizing pedophilia. Now, do you think that he was told to? I don't know. There's so much sketchy stuff here. I don't know. All I can do is give you what
Do you
we
have that
know.
video, Andy?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. So it was sorry,
It was the one with him and Richard Spencer, and Richard Spencer it was when he was like
I forget.
speechless.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember who gave it to me. I heard it. Yep, here it is. I found it. So there's so much links here. By the way, being in Godspeed here, I've been amazing detectives. And by the way, we do everything out of the open. We're not fucking stupid. We don't even have a Discord. We just fucking DM each other and call each other and go, "Hey man, here's how he fucked up. All right, put that in a video tomorrow."
Okay,
That's how we talk with each
put
other. We
this
talk
on.
like
Open
we're
up
in
the
a bathtub
webcam.
with bubbles in it.
Don't mention bubbles. You're gonna get Ross excited.
Wait.
He loves bubbles. All right, so I'm gonna play this real quick.
Richard, take
Don't
on
presume
your
on
Epstein
pedos
donation.
shit.
Did you watch my yesterday
I
show?
can presume on anything
Richard?
I want. I didn't say he
I'm
was
sorry.
a pedo.
Okay,
Shut the fuck
because
up.
I announced that
I am giving you
just for transparency, because I
okay,
was talking
pedoship
about
is
a news
is
item about
it's
Jeff
been
Epstein, and I announced that
it's
yes,
God.
Jeff
been
Epstein
convicted, not
has once
JF, the fucking guy,
contributed
Epstein.
to the start of
The
my
point
YouTube
is
channel
the
with a
pedophile
25,000
gave JF
news item
money,
that
and
yes,
JF's
there's
first
what's
videos were sympathizing with pedophiles and trying to normalize it
Okay,
scientifically.
let's play
Does
this
that look
video,
just
Andy.
fine? Shut the
So-
fuck up. Go ahead. Not
Okay,
you.
it's something that I'm thinking about.
Ben Oshie says, "What's Richard take on your Epstein donation? Did you watch my yesterday show, Richard?"
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Okay, because I announced that just for transparency, because I was talking about a news item about Jeff Epstein, and I announced that yes,
God.
Jeff Epstein has once contributed to the start of my YouTube channel with a $25,000 check, and that since then my YouTube channel has kind of taken a different direction, and people were scandalized. They were like, "JF is an agent of a Jewish millionaire rapist." And as I
He's
indicated,
that person. You were joking, I presume.
No, I'm not joking. This is real. Jeff Epstein was a founder to one of my non-profits in the U.S. with a $25,000 check. In 25.
Fashy, you could say,
Yo,
leadership
wait.
in
Yo,
the future.
dude.
And again,
Can you pause it for a sec?
So he says right there, Jeff Epstein is one of the founders to my nonprofit. There's only one nonprofit in the entire country registered in JF's name, and his name is not on there.
Is there a way to hide this fucking chat? It's pissing me off. Okay. All right. Okay, that's true. Yes, of course, what you just said there. Do you know what really kind of irks me in this? The way, the demeanor that JF is talking about it. Like, the laugh isn't his laugh. Do you know what I mean? I've seen him laugh before. And he's sort of like forcing it. And then maybe I'm just looking into it too much, but if you look at Richard Spencer's face, his surprised face doesn't look actually surprised. It looks like
I'm just shocked that he would say this, because he says flat out he was one of the founders to my nonprofit. But there's only one nonprofit in the entire country that's got JF's name on it, and it's this one, the Neuro TV one, and there is no record of this.
That boom again.
So I want to hear that again.
Energies. Something that
donation. Did you watch
just
my
play that
yesterday show? For a trend that yes,
God.
Jeff Epstein has once contributed to the start of my YouTube channel with a $25,000 check, and that since then my YouTube channel has kind of taken a different direction, and people were scandalized. They were like, "JF is an agent of a Jewish millionaire rapist." And as I
he's
indicated,
that person. You were joking, I presume.
No, I'm not joking. This is real.
Look at his face.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Do you see what I'm saying? Am I crazy?
No, you're not. Just
it's like
just look at his face.
Guy, yeah, I know, but this is a guy who found out he's gonna be at a birthday party, and he's like a surprise birthday party. He's like, "Fuck, now I have to act surprised." And he walks in. Oh, like it's fucking so fake. I understand. Oh,
Let's rewind that. So
okay,
he starts talking.
Because I was talking.
Yeah,
because I can't. Get your application share with me. By the way, your RPG character's in.
Oh, okay, cool. Let me.
There. I just linked it.
I'll just share the application so you can see his face.
Yeah.
Wait, did
Oh,
it
you
crash?
turned it off. Yeah. Crash. Wait, there's a fucking it's icy outside. Watch out when you drive. You're gonna crash everywhere. I'm bringing the laugh.
Okay, hold on.
I
Let me
love that
let me just get
JF1.
minicam going again.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Fucking
so we're gonna zoom in on Richard
Wait.
Spencer's face.
No, I don't see it. Application share.
I'll just
Don't worry, I'll watch it on the stream. Fine.
just watch it on the stream. So watch his face on this story.
Talking about the news item about Jeff Epstein, and I announced that yes,
God.
Jeff Epstein has once contributed to the start of my YouTube channel with
You can already see his eyes getting wider.
a $25,000 check, and
Just look at his eyes. He's just he's slowly becoming more and more angry, like weirded out by this.
that
No,
since
is
then
he
my
weirded out?
YouTube
Do
channel
you think he's acting, or do you think this is legit?
No, this is legit. Look at his fucking face. He's already
'Cause,
trying to
yeah,
sum
I
up
know
the
Richard-
words.
Yeah, I know Richard Spencer and a few people may not be too happy with a guy who just bashed them. What's his name? Jason. Fuck. What's his last name? Jason.
Oh, that Jason dude.
Yeah, who JF's gonna have on tomorrow?
Yeah. So let's watch Spencer. Let's watch Spencer react to this with his AirPods.
channel has kind of taken a different direction, and people were
He's like, "Are you serious? What the fuck?"
scandalized. They were like, "JF is an agent of a Jewish millionaire rapist."
Yeah, that looks
And
pretty.
as
Yeah,
a-
you're
that
right.
person,
No, I
you were
agree.
joking, I presume.
Oh, when
No,
it
I'm not
zoomed in, it's like he's. Oh my god!
He's like, "You're joking." I'm assuming, right?
Joking. This is real.
Look at his fucking eyebrows. They
Yeah.
jump up.
Jeff Epstein was a founder.
Yeah, no,
to,
that's like
one
finding
of my
out
non-profits in the U.S.
your friend
with a
fucked a donkey,
$25,000 check.
basically.
Look at him. He's got his hand over his mouth. He's biting his thumb. He's like, "Oh man, come on."
In 2015, I believe.
Oh my god!
Wow. This is the Jeffrey Epstein who has like a pedophile
You know what's
island
funny?
or something, and
Fucking Richard Spencer reacting to someone getting money from a Jew is like the same reaction you'd get from finding out your friend hit someone with their car and drove away.
And then you actually look at this, and it's like he's not listed, and he claims that this company was incorporated in 2015. There's only one company in the entire country that's been a nonprofit that's incorporated in JF's name, and it's this one. And it was incorporated in 2003. Diana Z was the one that filed the restraining order against him, and she was also mentioned by the private investigator of both his ex-wife and the girl that he tried to get custody of.
And a fun fact for the audience here, Diana Z was apparently he got her to move in with him, and then he tried to use her to buy a gun. And there's a quote that says, "I did not want to buy him a gun because he will probably shoot people." Oh, and also nice try to the people who were trying to do fake leaks yesterday to say that JF's current girlfriend was actually a stalker of his for 8 years.
Yeah.
Like they were leaking. Oh, look at this, Annie! Look at this. And the reason it was funny how that was leaked after I tweeted the spray paint stuff, because we look at those fake leaks compared to I don't know, her actual Twitter, which wasn't made in the same year, even close. Nice try though. They're trying to fucking throw out fake evidence, but we ain't stupid. We do not play with like you.
I can't get over fucking Richard Spencer's face.
Clinton.
Well, at the
Backer.
time, he was not. He
I
had
would
not
call
been
Richard Spencer
found
right now.
guilty, I
Let's
believe,
bring him on the
of
show.
this yet. But
Yeah,
there
get him on the
there
show.
were
I wanna ask him.
allegations
Yeah,
coming
let's
out
see.
in the media, but I didn't care. I mean, to me, if you hate pedophiles,
I have him on speed dial.
you
One
should
sec.
want to take the money out of their bank account and put it in other people's bank
Actually,
accounts.
yeah, he
So
is,
from
yeah.
a moral
I have to speak to him,
perspective,
actually, yeah.
I was totally
Yeah.
fine with that.
Oh, I
there were
get
no.
Okay,
that
I'm messaging him.
argument, but the implication of someone donating money is that
He might not
you
respond.
pay the piper, you get to
He's a
call the
busy
tune,
man.
and so but
Well,
not
this was a
always.
conditionless donation because it was an
Mm-hmm.
educational show that I had, Neuro TV, and so to me it was no problem. And I've talked to the media back then. I remember
By the way,
receiving
did
a
you guys
call
hear
from
that?
a because it was an
Mm-hmm.
educational show that I had, Neuro TV, and so to me it was no problem. And I've talked to the media. Well,
Not
this was a
always.
conditionless donation because it was an
Mm-hmm.
educational show that I had, Neuro TV, and so to me it was no problem. And I've talked to the media.
He just confirmed that it was Neuro TV, but we have the documents for Neuro TV being incorporated, and Neuro TV was incorporated in 2013, not 2015. So he had this thing done well before this explanation, so he couldn't even get the dates right. How do you have a domestic nonprofit corporation that's funded with a $25,000 donation by a guy that had a pedophile island that you claimed he was the founder of, but you're the founder of it? It says
Someone like you.
incorporator and founder of Neuro TV. He just told Richard Spencer that this company was a nonprofit that was founded by this guy.
He had not been found guilty, I believe,
Did
of
you just stop
this
talking?
yet, but there
Yeah,
were
I'm playing
allegations
the thing.
coming out in the media. But
Yo,
I
I'm gonna
didn't
run.
care.
I'm gonna finish that video, right, man?
To me,
All right, man.
if you
All
hate
right. Bye, everyone.
pedophiles,
Except for
you should want
bad
to
tits.
take the money out
You
of.
fucking bitch. Who else do I not like? Okay, that's all I can see right now. Bye, guys. Love you. Love you, Zoom. I'll see you later.
That's gay.
See you back. Okay, bye.
Gay. So I'm just fucking shocked by this fucking video. It just cracks me up. Like, look at Richard Spencer 20 minutes ago. He's just listening. He's okay with this. He's laughing. And then we get to this part. It's right around 104. And you can just see it. Just watch his face.
Just for transparency, because I was talking about a news item about Jeff Epstein, and I announced that yes,
God.
Jeff Epstein has once contributed to the start of my YouTube channel with a $25,000 check.
His face is killing me. His face is so funny. He is so freaked out by this.
And that since then my YouTube channel has kind of taken a different direction, and people were scandalized. They were like, JF is an agent of a Jewish millionaire rapist. And as I
He's
indicated,
that person. You were joking, I presume.
No, I'm not joking. This is real.
His face fucking kills me. You can see it. Like, it's a complete shift of him being like, "Oh, okay, you're kidding, right?" No, I'm not. Let's go back. Go back 10 seconds.
Jeff is an agent of a Jewish millionaire rapist. And as I
He's
indicated,
that person. You were joking, I presume.
No, I'm not joking.
Now let's put this down to fucking 5% or 0.5 for the speed. And we'll see his face. We'll go down to 25.
This is real. Jeff Epstein was a founder to one of my non-profits in the US with a $25,000 check in 2015.
Now look at Richard. He's fucking biting his thumb, and he corrects him and he goes, "No, he was one of the founders of my non-for-profit in 2015. Well, JF, it's a good thing that you're a fucking liar because this non-for-profit was founded in 2013. And fucking that pedophile guy had absolutely fucking nothing to do with your company. He was not on the board. He was not an advisor. He wasn't even an initial investor. You took $25,000 from a pedophile and used it to start up a YouTube channel. And the minute he was convicted, you didn't use it. You kept it for yourself. This poor man. Look at him. He is completely broken. Look at him. He is broken at this point.
I believe.
Look at him. He doesn't even know what to say. He is completely like at a loss for words at the fact that JF took this money from this guy that literally had an island of pedos. He has him at a loss for words. And then you look at JF. This is Richard Spencer. This is a normal reaction to something like this. This is JF. Look at JF. Look at his face. Is that the face of a man that is telling a story? Why is he so happy? Why is he laughing? What the fuck? And then you go back to Richard Spencer. He's at a loss for words. Let's go back.
Us with the $25,000 check in 2015, I believe.
And then here's the best part. Now let's go over to JF. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Jeffrey Epstein who has like a pedophile island or something, and is it Clinton?
Well, at the time, he had not been found guilty, I believe, of this.
Look at Richard Spencer. He's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yet, but there were allegations
Look at him. He starts cracking up.
coming out in the media, but
Let's go back.
Again, we vote that boom
us with the $25,000 check in 2015, I believe.
Wow. This is the Jeffrey Epstein who has like a pedophile island or something, and
Yeah,
is it
yeah, yeah.
Clinton
Well, at the
backer?
time, he had not been found guilty, I believe, of this yet, but there were allegations coming us with a $25,000 check in 2015, I believe.
Wow. So this is the Jeffrey Epstein who has like a pedophile island or something, and
Yeah,
is it
yeah, yeah.
Clinton
Well, at the
backer?
time, he had not been found guilty, I believe, of this yet, but real. Jeff Epstein was a founder to one of my nonprofits in the U.S. with a $25,000 check in
His
2015, I
body
believe.
language is so hilarious.
Wow. So this is the Jeffrey Epstein who has like a pedophile island or something, and
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it
yeah.
Clinton
Well, at the
backer?
time, he had not been found.
You can see him. He's like dumbfounded. He's like, how is he talking about this so casually? I gotta put that on 5%. I want to see that head shake where he's just completely shocked.
Wow. Yeah, this is the Jeffrey Epstein who has like a pedophile island or something, and
Yeah,
is it
yeah, yeah.
Clinton
Well, at the
backer?
time, he had not been
Just watch his head. Watch his head. He's trying to understand this. Look at his head. Just watch him.
found guilty, I believe, of this yet, but there were allegations coming out in the media, but I didn't care. I mean, to me, if you hate pedophiles, you should want to take the money out of their bank account and put it in other people's bank accounts. So, from a moral perspective, I was totally fine with that.
Oh, I,
And
I
there were no.
get that argument.
By the way, guys, he took the money from the guy that owned a pedophile island because in his mind, he was taking money from him so he couldn't spend it paying off some family of a kid he raped. He has no moral obligation to feeling bad about this because he's taking money from pedophiles so that they can't pay off their victims' families. And you can see Richard's face. He's like, what? And what's even crazier is when you actually go back and look at the company, that guy's not involved with that company. And it was not incorporated in 2015 like he claims it was. So he is a liar. He's a liar. And given the fact that his psychiatric evaluation by an independent psychologist that was court ordered just shows that he's a liar. I mean, it just shows that he's a liar. He's crazy. And we can't trust people like this. Now I'm going to let you guys be played out, and I'm going to go let my dog out because my dog's barking. So thanks for joining me on Godspeed Live, and I hope you guys enjoyed my material today. I'll be reviewing some material tomorrow and hopefully getting all of the calls done before tomorrow afternoon. Take it easy, guys. And I would assume that Epstein's name would be on it, considering he is a founder of BGE, according to him. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We can review this stuff later.